We don't have in the inner city places like this. You know, a nice bar or club where you can come and sit down and relax because of the violence. I mean, people are frightened. So I put together a plan where we spend $40,000 a year to keep a person in prison. Why can't we just give them a job and keep them out? There we go. Most of them need jobs, you know? So you can give them a job for $20,000, $15,000, $18,000. They're entry-level people, and they would be happy. They really, really would, you know? So what we're going to do is give them a job, controlling their community, establishing a relationship with the police. You know, there has to be a relationship and a trust between community and police. So, and that's why I'm running for mayor. I'm going to do that. Second reason why I'm running for mayor is I don't think the mayor's office should be purchased by some outsiders who own a lot of money or some hedge club up on City Avenue. I mean, they give Williams $5 million. I mean, $200,000 could be a campaign contribution. Maybe even $500 could be a campaign contribution. For $5 million to purchase. That's a purchase. That's no campaign contribution. And when if he were to become mayor, then we would have some suburban hedge fund people running the city. Now, would that be bad? I don't know. But I know it would be good for where I live. Oh, I said, why should people vote for me? Because I'm the best candidate. You know, that's what I think, right? I think that, you know, you can't run the city if you have a value system that doesn't include the entire city. If you have a value system that doesn't include Center City or one part of the city, you can't really run the city. Secondly, we have to create opportunity for people who are entry level. Everybody doesn't have an education. People dropped out of high school. We have a 50% high school dropout. And people do vending, and they do sell T-shirts, and every administration I know just about chases them off the street. You want to have, you know, but there is a way you can allow people to earn money without running them off the street.
For the schools.
Oh, the plan for the schools. Let me be really, really honest with you guys on the school. Please do. We have 75,000 black students, 25,000 Hispanics, and 19,000 Caucasians, and the rest are either preschool or so forth. So what we have is a minority school district. Now, minorities don't own real estate, and a lot of them are unemployed. So what we have to do with the following letter is raise your taxes to educate some poor black kids. Nobody want to do that. You know, I mean, if you want to be honest, if I were you, I'd tell you, let black people educate their own students. Why should we educate them? I mean, and that's what most people think, but most people don't have enough balls to say that. You know, so what we have to do is have, there's two types of taxes. There's a direct and an indirect. You know, we have an indirect tax on gas. If you don't want to pay for gas, ride a bike or a skateboard or walk. So you don't have to pay that tax. So we can have games of choice. Okay? Independent, where everybody would play, but the money would be dedicated to the school district. But you can decide whether you want to play. In the lottery, senior citizens get $1 billion a year from the lottery. Why can't you have a lottery that funds the schools? Why can't you do that? Then you don't have to raise anybody's taxes. Everybody's going to gamble. You know, we just had a piece of legislation, I don't know if you know about it or not, in Harrisburg, where clubs and bars like yourself can now do chances, games of choice and whatnot. I have copies of that. Well, what we should have had attached to that is maybe even video poker. So you could have poker machines, and put 6,000, 7,000 poker machines around, put them at the airport, put them in gift shops, put them in bars, dedicate all that money to the school. I had Bowie's do a study. If we were to do that, we'd raise over $500 million on the low side right away, just by putting poker machines in clubs and bars and churches. You know?
I go to church. More people going to church.
You know? Everybody go to church then, right? You know? So, but really, we have to have an independent fund source. I will never ask somebody else to go out, work hard, take care of your family, and then get taxed to educate somebody else's children.
Question for you, sir. What are your thoughts on charter schools taking public funds away from public schools?
You know, the charter, you know, that's what the billionaires up on, that's why they purchased Senator Williams. You know, Senator Williams to do charter schools. All right? Now what that does is, that's actually the triage theory. Okay? So they go into they look at the school district and they say, well, 50% of these kids drop out anyhow. So we're going to take the 50% that may want to learn and that may have a possibility, put them in the charter schools, and we're going to build some prisons for the rest of them. You know, so that when they drop out of school, they're going to go commit a crime and then we'll put them in prison. We're building a $400 million prison, $450 million prison right now. So you have 48% of all the people in the correctional system in Pennsylvania, 48% is black, I think it's about 8 or 9% is Hispanic. So you have almost 60% of the incarcerated in the state of Pennsylvania is minority. Okay? So, anybody else have a question? I'm on the roll here.
No more questions.
Way to go.
There's a lot of abandoned properties usually owned by somebody who doesn't live here, and you can't force sale, you can't tear them down. What can we do about that?
Why can't you? Let me tell you what I do with it. Every time I talk to the city about vacant houses, like this happened, they say, well, we can't do anything because we can't find the owners. I said, why the hell are you looking for them? Let's move somebody in, let the owners find us. You know, that is easy to do, and you don't have to infringe upon property rights. Let me tell you what I did when I was in the Senate. To deal with the vacant houses, I moved people into the houses. I gave them a lease. I signed the lease, and I put an addendum on the lease. And I said, you have to keep a record of every dime you spend repairing this house or fixing this house up. When the owner came back, he said, what right did you have to move somebody in my house? I said, what right did you have to walk off and leave it so that it could depreciate the value of everybody else who's trying to keep their house up? I said, you didn't have any right to do that. Well, I'm going to put your people out. I said, well, I'll meet you in room 176. I have two value systems. The value system of the poor is never involved or used in the equation when they try to decide who can win and who can't win. So you have a whole group of people out there, like 300,000 ex-offenders or re-entry people and their families. Those people don't vote. Well, trust me, I have awakened them. And if you don't believe that, listen to the debates. Nobody in this election was talking about stop and frisk until I got into it. Nobody, not one candidate. All the candidates were talking about, you know, we're going to keep Ramsey, one of the worst commissioners we've ever had. Okay? Now they're all talking about, oh no, the people don't want him, we're going to get rid of him. Okay? So, when I start talking about stop and frisk, the re-entry community, every major candidate is talking about it.